I'm Judy Wall. I was a teacher in Watchung from 93 to 98, and then I left when I had my daughter and came back in 2008 until 2018. Well, in my first little stint from 93 to 98, I started out in second grade. And I taught second grade for 3 years, and then I didn't choose to teach kindergarten, but that was the next grade that was available, so that was literally the only position that was left. I got called into the principal's office, and she said, "We have kindergarten next year," because my kindergarten teacher was retiring, Mrs. Bogan. So when she retired, that's when I moved to kindergarten. So I taught kindergarten for 2 years. Choosing to teach in Watchung was, I think it just sort of happened organically. I graduated from college and applied to a gazillion different places, and Watchung just worked out for me. They actually came to me later in August because they were opening up another section of second grade. So they were looking for, later on in the summer. And so I met with the principal, Kathy Rock at the time, Dr. Rock, and Dr. Parenti was the superintendent at the time, who I knew from when I was a student back in the day. So I had an interview with them, and then I went on to do a demo lesson. And I was trying to think of the age group. I think it was third grade in Mary Nunn's classroom that I went and did my demo lesson. And then it was probably 3 weeks before school started, so I hit the ground running. Funniest memory is vivid. I had 2 little boys. I'll call them Chris and Andrew, and they were best buddies, and they decided that they were going to, one of them wrote a note saying that, Chris wrote a note saying that Andrew was going to go home with him on the bus and get off at his bus stop. Clearly written in first grade handwriting. Tried to sign their parents' name. And I think the mom still has the note to this day. It was, we all had a good laugh about it. But that was probably one of the funniest things that happened. The hardest part about being a teacher is probably those moments when I would have to talk to parents about, maybe a struggle that their child was having socially or emotionally or academically that the parent was really unaware of and maybe not ready to hear or want to address. When people would hear the child study team, they panic. So I think probably those were the most challenging times to navigate those kinds of things. The biggest change was probably the school itself. When I left in 1998, it was the same school I had basically gone to when I went to Bayberry. And when I came back, there was a brand new gym, and the old gym was now a big, beautiful library. There was no circular driveway in the front anymore as we knew it. The playground was in the back. So that was probably the biggest change for me, was the physical change. I think overall, the teachers, some of the teachers were still there from when I had been there before. So the general camaraderie was still really good. I think initially going to teach at Bayberry and being able to be a part of the community as a member of the community, when I first started working there, I was living at home at my parents' house, so I was a part of the community and a part of the schools. And I think that was a really important part of kind of what I wanted to project into my students and have them have that sense of community. And I used to go to softball games and baseball games and those kinds of things. So I think for me and for students, just creating that sense of community. Give your teachers a break sometimes. I think there's a lot of times with my students, I would always try to be a part of their life and understand what went on in their life outside of the classroom. And I think the more students and teachers can create those connections and trusting that your teachers are going to be there to support you and help you is a really important part of just the whole educational experience. I think overall, my experience as a teacher was really positive. In the beginning, the first 5 years that I taught, and then when I came back, there weren't a whole lot of changes. In the last few years that I taught, there were a lot more changes in administration, changes in the Board of Education. So I think just reflecting back, for me, those kind of early times were just really kind of a solid experience. I just enjoyed being a part of the town that I grew up in, with my parents being super involved in the town. That was really important to me. My mom was a substitute school nurse, so she would sometimes be in the school when I was in the school. So I think just my family connection and to the town was really important. My father's involvement in town was good old town politics. So he was on the council for, I think, 16 or 17 years altogether, and he was mayor for 8 years. And it was also fun being a teacher and having my dad be the mayor. The kids just were like, wow, your dad's the mayor. And he would come in and see the kids in the classroom. So that was always a fun time as well.